John asks, what's with the Paschal lamb? John, when Abraham was about to go up the mountain to offer his son Yitzchak as a burnt offering, Yitzchak asked where the seh was. A seh is a lamb or young goat. Abraham replied that God would provide the seh. Of course, he had Yitzchak in mind. By sacrificing Yitzchak, Abraham was sacrificing his future. Likewise, the seh represents our future. This focus on the future is enhanced by the sacrifice of a young male seh. The seh is young because it represents the future. The seh is male because it represents the positive will to reproduce, and thus continue into the future. And the seh is burnt, just as Yitzchak was supposed to be, because burning is how offerings are sent to Hashem. Through the Pesach offering, we are dedicating our future to God. Of course, the seh isn't chosen randomly. Cultures which herd sheep can travel with their food, enabling them to be among the most warlike, poetic, and free in human history. And a goat is itself rambunctious. One enables willful challenges of the status quo, and the other embodies those challenges. Both animals represent the Jewish people as a whole. The seh's identity as part of our national future is strengthened by bringing the animal into our homes. By living with us, it can, in a sense, be part of the family. It is this giving of our own future which protects us from the plague of the firstborn, a plague which takes the future from the Egyptians. Of course, the seh not only represents a dedication of the future, it also represents the creation of a new people. Blood in a living body connects all the cells of the body, providing oxygen. The blood that is placed in the doorways serves the same roles. It is a method of identifying the households of the Jewish people as its cells. The cells themselves are not individuals. Each must have enough people to consume the seh, so each cell is formed of a small social circle, the building block of a larger society. Later, with the mezuzah, words will unite the cells of the Jewish people, but they aren't ready yet. The Pesach offering also represents our trust in Hashem. Whether through fire or eating, every part of the seh is consumed. Just as Abraham trusted that Hashem would provide his future, we trust that Hashem will provide ours. We preserve nothing for contingencies. This concept of dependency is strengthened by the matzah and the bitter herbs. Matzah represents affliction, not because it is a low-grade food, but because there is no reason for the people to have to eat it. They had 14 days warning before the Exodus. They could have made bread, but they didn't. They didn't because the hallmark of a slave is a lack of initiative. The people didn't free themselves. God released them from their bondage. The bitter herbs represent that bondage. In addition, the eating is done when the people are ready to move. Even though nothing has happened, they are showing their trust that something will happen. They are showing their trust in Hashem. The timing of the seh reinforces all of this. The beginning of the month marks the first plague, the first miracle of the Exodus. The Jews only need to observe it. They were entirely dependent. Days 2 through 9 represent the other plagues. The 10th day marks the 10th plague. It is when the future is taken from the Egyptians, and the future, through emancipation, is given to the Jewish people. Then there are 4 days where the people have their future, as represented by the seh. This correlates to 4 major miracles in the desert before the giving of the Torah. Finally, on the eve of the 15th miracle, the giving of the Torah, the people dedicate their future to God by saying, "All God has spoken, we will do." This is represented by the Pesach offering itself. Taken together, the Pesach offering represents the people's dedication, unity, and trust in God. Taken together, it represents the foundation of our nation, and its memory in the Pesach Seder preserves us as a people.